Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for all the new subscribers to the channel and all the ones that like the video. And remember to share with your friends. Today we have another video with some information about the metaverse and Web3 gaming. This is an interview I found with the co-founder and the CEO of the metaverse, of the Sandbox, sorry, Sebastien Borget, or Borget, and a lady called Prapas. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Let's just call her Meghan. And Meghan. So yes, this is a interesting take she is taking on the interview. She's touching a lot of topics. You know, we have many people who question if blockchain technology is here to stay and if NFT is just a fad. So Sebastian is tackling all of these tough questions, and let's see his take on the future of Web3 gaming and the blockchain and the metaverse.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to an exciting session on the Sandbox and the future of Web3 Metaverse. My name is Meghan, a Metaverse architect at SCB10X, and I will be a moderator of this session. Today, I am excited to welcome back Sebastien Borget, a co-founder and a COO of the Sandbox. Hi, Seb, how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, very happy to have you here. Maybe we can start by having you give us a brief introduction and vision and goals of the Sandbox to our new audience.
Of course. So the Sandbox is actually this decentralized gaming virtual world where anyone can make 3D content, 3D asset, or like various type of experience, games, but much more. And can truly own any of those digital assets and monetize them the way they want through the use of blockchain technology and NFTs. So creators using the Sandbox platform can create more social, more fun, more immersive experiences that users will be able to access through an avatar, and users will own that identity, would own all their digital assets, will be able to use them in Sandbox and potentially outside of Sandbox as well. That is essentially how we're creating the metaverse together.
Wow, very well. So talking about the Sandbox, a Web3 metaverse platform, what do you think that are the key drivers for adoption of Web3 metaverse?
Well, Sandbox has been one of the pioneers in the space. We've been already involved for more than 4 years, developing the various tools of the platform. And we think like one of the first driver will be essentially to provide true value for the players, for the users, empowering the creators. And that's what Sandbox has been providing from the beginning. Like we're a platform that allows anyone to be more creative. We are as accessible as possible, since you do not need any programming language, any scripting to start learning how to make any content, how to make any experience in Sandbox with our voxel editor, VoxEdit, or our no-code game maker. We also have been bringing more than 300 brands now over time. Most of them are in entertainment, with brands in fashion, with Gucci, lifestyle with Adidas, music with Warner Music Group, or music artists, even Snoop Dogg, Steve Aoki, Deadmau, Blondish, Jamie Jamiroquai, just to name a few, and of course gaming. So we're a space that's blending culture with user-generated content on one side and IPs and brands on the other side, and allows anyone to take all those content, to remix them the way they want, really giving total freedom to their creativity, to their imagination, own that content, and monetize it as well. And I think this is one of the ways that we're going to but to grow the audience in Sandbox, reaching out to the fans, reaching out to the creators, giving life to their wildest ideas, allowing them to own and to monetize that. And progressively, we're seeing Sandbox definitely growing. We have more than 3.5 million users with the wallet now. We have more than 21,500 unique landowners, and it's accelerating fast.
Wow. I'm always like fascinated by the power of community of like the Sandbox that you guys have built. And I think like this is probably like one of the greatest strengths of the Sandbox itself. So like what are the key strategies that you use to attract and also like influence creators and players to come into the Sandbox like more and more? And also like what development in Web3 Metaverse do you think is very crucial to build the efficient network effect?
I believe that, well, you need to have the right incentive. And at the Sandbox, creators receive 95% of the revenue from the content they create and they sell on our marketplace, or they earn through gameplay, from active engagement, and they could sell as well. It's really important because we are one of the most, the platform that really focus on rewarding the most the creator. And that's contribute to participate into building a whole circular economy behind, where all those creators, they are actually reinvesting their earnings into acquiring land, into hiring builders to develop their experience and so on. The last step that's coming by the end of the year is having the possibility to publish those experiences directly on your land. And just like we're showing with our alpha season, be able to run your own events, be able to run your own season where people can come, complete quests, explore over time different experiences, earn rewards, and based on their progression, those rewards could be more or less valuable NFTs or more or less Sand token typically.
Yeah. So since like you mentioned about like the right incentive for the builders, right? But like right now we are in the middle of the crypto winter here. How does this round of market downturn affect the Sandbox? And also like what kind of opportunities do you see in this bear market?
So, you know, when we started Sandbox 4 years ago, it was already what people call like a bear market, a crypto winter. That didn't stop us to start building the product and to show that the vision we had by then to empower creators and to use blockchain and NFT to disrupt this closed walled garden economy that Web 2.0 platform or centralized user-generated content platform have been. But before we started to introduce a token, we've been focusing on like, let's create great product. Let's use our experience that we've acquired for over 10 years, 15 years of entrepreneurship and 10 years into gaming to develop product that would be fun, engaging, bring people in and give them a reason to come back as well. Grow a community of users around like creators and as well, again, like for the core value of the platform proposal before looking at other aspects such as the token incentive and so on. So we introduced the first NFTs and lands typically of Sandbox 2 years after we've started to build a platform, and Sand even 3 years after. And that gives a quite healthy distribution in our community. That means like right now, every day when I wake up, and there's always something happening in Sandbox. There is a project into our ecosystem that is being launched. There's a new collection being designed and so on. Because we've put so much effort into like creator first approach and supporting the growth of an ecosystem of builders all around the world. So we have more than 100 builder studios around the world. A year ago, they were just individuals. Today, they are on average teams of 10 to 20 people. We're proud to have studios 4 of them in Hong Kong, 8 in Korea, 4 in Japan, and here in Thailand as well. It's starting, it's quite exciting, and I'm proud that you're actively contributing to educate people to have those creative new skills that are essential to populate the metaverse and open up new opportunity, new jobs for people who want to participate into creating those immersive experiences, either from their own brands, content and ideas, or leveraging some of the most popular IPs around the world that are part of Sandbox as well. That is essential. And beside that, I think the other opportunity in this current bear market is to also look at which are, let's focus again, like let's provide real utility for users, real use case for all those NFTs. So having only NFTs as collectible or image or art, it's quite limited. And hence, like, you have to do, you have to find ways to engage your community of token holders in different ways. Sandbox could definitely be one of those ways, actually. We're helping a lot of the other Web3 projects to have more utility, more use case for their own NFT collection or profile picture collection, because through interoperability, they have this possibility to turn their procedurally generated image into playable characters who become the players' avatars, players' identity, which then they can use to socialize among all the holders of the collection into lands, to interact, to dance, to chat, to express themselves, to run, to fight if they want, to be creative as well, to use the game maker tool to start building the world, the environment all around those, the community, etc., and to even become the virtual neighbor of their community on the map. So in a way, I think we become symbiotic to all the projects, and we strive to provide value. So anyone, even in this bear market, can find something cool, something creative to do in the metaverse with their own collections.
Right. So 1 year from now, like hopefully past like the bear market, what are the new developments of features in the Sandbox metaverse should we anticipate it? And like, how about like new partners? Like, do you have any new partners or any surprises that we should see in the next year?
Well, there's always, just over the past of this week, we've announced Steve Aoki Avatar Collection, Tony Hawk entering the Sandbox and building the biggest skate park in the metaverse, Playboy introducing like lifestyle design and his special charm collection, Code Green as well for like more like ecological impact, social impact causes, and recreating the great green world in the metaverse. So there's always a great mixture of culture, of entertainment, of gaming, and other great projects that can come into Sandbox almost every week if you follow. Now we have the Alpha Season 3 that is coming up early August. It will feature more than 90 experiences. So it's literally hours and hours of gameplay, like 80 to 100 hours of gameplay that will span over 10 weeks. There's more than 20 major IPs, major brands, the favorite characters from people who love like rabbits, Care Bears, Smurf, The Walking Dead, or their music artists like Sueco, favorite gaming game with Atari, etc., who they can interact with, alongside user-generated content as well to discover. So it's a great way to step in, discover the possibilities of the metaverse, which go way beyond gaming, socialize, interact with others, and earn through that active engagement, earn tokens and rewards at the end of the season based on your level of engagement. Besides that, we're working very actively to open the marketplace completely over layer 2 now that we've almost completed our migration to Polygon. We also aim to enable land publishing by the end of the year. So just anyone can publish on their land the content they want, which will also activate the economy of land rental, etc. And we started working on bringing Sandbox to mobile to make it accessible from anywhere on the go as well.
Also, when you mentioned about like bringing it to like the mobile, does it mean that we can access like the gameplay from like the mobile device?
Yes, so that's essentially it, to optimize the performance and the user experience from your mobile device, so you can play with your avatar just from your smartphone or tablet. But that's something more for 2023. But we know that's where we want to go. We also look at the DAO. Typically, we have a roadmap towards keep pushing for more decentralization at Sandbox that we're going to put in place.
Wow, that's very exciting things coming up for the Sandbox. And so like, what do you think that like NFT gamings and like the metaverse should be focusing on in the next 1 to 2 years? Like how could we like create an excitement NFT gaming and metaverse experience like during the bear market like this?
I think like we still have to figure out like what will bring people into the metaverse and make them stay and make them come back. And right now I feel like it's mostly about experience. It's about being creative. It might provide like great things, new form of entertainment that they haven't seen before on other platforms, and focusing on generating a new connection with those users than what they would typically find on the mobile app or a website or social media network, where the engagement is more passive. That means like we're not looking at shaping a metaverse mostly as a commercial, transactional space, but more as this space where like we would want you and your avatar to always be surprised, something unexpected, new form of this massive playground where you mix a lot of culture between like artists, NFT collections from various brands, and many characters and content you're familiar with from your favorite IPs as well, and letting people interact with them in new ways.
Wow, that's very cool. Like I'm like as a builder on Sandbox as well. I think like the new kind of like experience is something that I'm actually looking forward to see from like other builders as well. So like moving forward, what kind of innovations or like technology do you foresee in Web3 Metaverse? How should the business prepare to be a part of Metaverse?
How should business prepare to be part of Metaverse? I think it's we have a few recommendations, essentially 5 main tips for any brands to think about like their Metaverse strategy. Most of them, they should structure like internal teams, whether it's called many companies have like now a head of Web3 or even a chief metaverse officer instead of chief marketing officer as a role to educate themselves and the rest of the company about the possibility, not jump on the first opportunity, most of the time just launching an NFT collection that can monetize, but doesn't have a lot of value or meaning ultimately. And a virtual world, decentralized like Sandbox, could definitely be part of, and is very often part of that strategy, to have a point of presence in one or multiple decentralized virtual world where the loyal users, the fan, the customer from those brands can start interacting, socializing, and also using the creative tool of the platform to build their own stories, to build their own adventures, to build their own games, expanding the overall universe of the map. They can become the virtual neighbor of those brands as well on the Sandbox map, which is quite unique in a way. It's a way to shape a new map, a world map of that virtual world. We often call it a new digital nation, where you can, as a user, have this opportunity to build your virtual house, build the place where you want, and be the neighbor of, like, I don't know, Snoop Dogg or Steve Aoki or the rabbits and so on. It's quite cool to think like I'm just a walk away from so many cool places to explore and to interact with. The second tip is to definitely reward users and give value to users rather than try to extract value from your users. The third tip is embracing user-generated content. So don't come with the idea of like being closed on yourself and trying to protect your brand by all means, but be more in an open mindset where you want to co-create a space with the community. You want to put into your land external NFTs, all the brands, making it like in the real world, a place that when you interact, you in the city, you see two shops next to each other, you see sometimes collaboration and so on. That's also part of this open NFT culture, I think. This open NFT culture, it's like, that's the first thing you see when you enter Sandbox, the main hub of Sandbox. You arrive with your avatar and you can see portals towards like many brands. You can see art made by various artists you might not be familiar with, but now you discover that, you discover what is an NFT, what kind of art it can be. And that's really refreshing as an experience versus a lot of other platforms. Yes, and I think like basically being creative, always trying to do things, go beyond laws of physics, go do things that are not possible in the real world or only accessible to such a few people. Now make it accessible to millions of people virtually. I find that's my fifth tip, and I think that's the most exciting. And actually, since you're a builder, I want to return the question to you and hear, like, what do you find is cool about the metaverse, what you've done in Sandbox, and keep surprising others with it?
I am the one who is responsible for the SCB10X headquarters. And so what I think very exciting is that, like, the fact that I'm not constrained by any physics, like everything is possible. Like I make the building floats. And I think like everything goes like beyond imagination. At first I find it like kind of like the creative kind of like a creative workbook or something like that. Something that keeps me like building new things all the time, like come up with new things all the time. And that's where I think like the Sandbox, it's not just the Sandbox or like the virtual world is very exciting. Like I can fly. I look at like the building from many angles that I like, not just like one angle that I can see as like little human and like the giant buildings like that. Yeah. So as I am
a lot about architecture as well. I love like thinking architecture in ways that it goes beyond physics. It makes possible what is impossible in the real world, and it inspired others.
Yeah, everything that used to like frustrated me in the real world, like as like a practice architect before, is now gone like in the Sandbox. So I think that's like very exciting. So like as I am also a venture builder here at SCB10X, I just would like to know your opinion about what kind of metaverse infrastructure or like tooling development that you think we should build in the next like 1 to 2 years?
Well, I really want creators to always surprise us. So that's why we update regularly tools of Sandbox, the game maker, to add new possibilities in terms of like, first we started with creating your own quest, your own adventure, fighting, completing objective with times. Now we're adding more and more multiplayer feature. There will be like parkour game, platformer, runner, etc. That will be possible. And also virtual shows and virtual concert, like being able to add a lot of camera effect, virtual light effects, different special effects that will contribute to make it, make this whole environment more magical at all time. It's important. And after that, I think like I want to see a great diversity of experiences. That's what we support with our Game Maker Fund, actually. Show us games that are more narrative games, more exploratory games. Things that touch about architecture, about comedy show, about simulation, kind of life simulation. Yes.
Okay.
And the idea that with my avatar, as I explore land by land, it's almost like in the real world. I walk in a city and every corner can find something new, unexpected there. So that's what I'd love to see in Sandbox over the next 1 or 2 years, and why we support so many studios via the foundation. Plus, we launch so many game jams. So that's also something that we do with a lot of brands. Every time a brand Sandbox, we launch a game jam, which is like a time limited game creation competition on certain topics. And every time we receive thousands of creation from people all around the world. The quality keeps rising more and more. And it's always refreshing. Like it's something you don't imagine the creativity from people all around the world with UGC, and how like every game is not like another, which is exciting. And it's not just like, unfortunately, we can find now in the App Store where every game is a replica of another game that monetizes well, because that's the only way to keep the business alive.
Okay. Okay, so since we are running out of time, and so I would like to ask you like our last questions. What's the next step for the Sandbox, and what's your role in the future of art, music, and entertainment?
So we did line up a little bit the upcoming major milestone on our roadmap. I guess the next step is to keep growing the Sandbox, to make it even more accessible to anyone in the world, to add even more IPs and content that will touch around music, around art, around expression, etc. And to show that not just Sandbox can launch seasons, but anyone could launch their own season or event or ticket-gated, NFT ticket-gated experience, and can be largely, can also make a living from those activities, can be successful. So that's something quite important. Like Sandbox can only be successful if the ecosystem of people who spend time, interact, animate, or build experience on top of Sandbox as well. And we hope that we can shape a place that people can say they really have fun with, and that the quality of the content you will find there will definitely be reflecting of the possibilities of the metaverse.
Okay. Cool. So we are going to have like the alpha season 3 in August, in the beginning of August, right? That we are expecting. Okay. So I'm very looking forward to walking in there. And so thank you so much, Sebastien. Like, it was very nice to have you join us at this virtual summit. And for our audience, coming up next is a session on how to navigate the bear market and invest during this crypto downturn by Jason Choi of Tangent Venture. Stay tuned.
Thank you. See you soon. And I cannot wait to see what you will create in Sandbox.
Yeah.
Okay guys, there you have it. Thanks again for watching, and please remember to like, share and subscribe, and leave your feedback in the comment section. I want to hear what you think about what Sebastien had to say, and I really think the future of the metaverse is bright. I'm one of the guys that are very bullish on the metaverse, and the Sandbox is making some big strides, as you can see, making a lot of big partnerships and stuff. But I see this going in many different ways, guys. So thanks again for watching, and I'll bring you more videos about blockchain gaming and the metaverse.